new film that just hit theaters. Once again, for the third time, both behind the camera and in front of the camera, Kenneth Branagh returns following Murder on the Orient Express and Death at the Nile. As for the third time, he will be playing Hercule Poirot, the detective who in this movie is brought out of retirement by an old friend, played by Tina Fey, who's looking to capitalize on a suicide, basically death that happened in this haunted house. And the idea that all these ghosts have been possibly leading to deaths for decades at this house. And Tina Fey, as a writer, is trying to capitalize on the myth of these ghosts who are killing people. At this house, of course, a murder happens, and it's up to Poirot to sift through all of the lies and the facts and to make sure who is the one killing all of these people. The cast is pretty stacked as well as usual for this movie. You also have Camille Cotton, Jamie Dornan, Jude Hill, Ali Khan, Emma Laird, Kelly Riley, and also Michelle Yeoh, a part of the main cast. The film is an hour and 43 minutes and is PG-13. Welcome back to a brand new movie review here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnerberg. Today we're talking about A Haunting in Venice. First of all, subscribe, ring the bell if you're in the channel. We're getting so close to 170 subscribers, so please hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 170. I do these types of movie reviews, TV show reviews, movie rankings, and a weekly box office breakdown show. Comment down below. First of all, have you seen A Haunting in Venice? Was the first time you've seen a movie with Hercule Poirot, or have you seen all three of those movies? And if you have, what is your ranking of the Hercule Poirot murder mystery films? If you've not seen it, tell me, why have you not seen it? Did you even know this is a part of technically a trilogy here? Also, please like the video, guys, the thumbs up button. That's how you support this channel. So coming into this movie, I have seen both Murder on the Orient Express and Death at the Nile one time, both pretty forgettable murder mysteries for me. And that's what I want to say before I get into my review is that for me, I've kind of learned this now covering, basically writing reviews for the last 5 years, now being on a YouTube channel for 3, that just like comedy, for at least what I realized, murder mysteries are very subjective. For some people, they see some whodunits coming from a mile away, and that means they don't like the movie. There's times where they have fun with the movie, but don't love the twist. Murder mystery for me is easily one of the most subjective forms of cinema or TV shows we have going right now. So I do want to say that before I start this review. So I do feel like here my review begins now with The Haunting in Venice. I do think this fits right alongside Death at the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express. The best part about this movie is the craftsmanship of the film. Branagh is a really fantastic filmmaker. He's been doing it for decades now, a couple decades, and we'll talk about him on screen, but the direction and the shot, the sets, they're gorgeous in this movie. You can really tell that they shot on location for Haunting in Venice compared to Death of the Nile, which you could tell was very much shot with a lot of green screen. So I think Death of the Nile for me is the weakest of the 3. But with A Haunting in Venice, it's a gorgeous film. Also a great score. I always forget how to pronounce her name. So Hildur is her first name. She won the Oscar for composing Joker. She's a terrific composer who's right alongside the person who did the Sicario score. So she's a terrific composer, and her score is amazing in this movie. It just puts you right where we are in this film, which is obviously Venice, Italy, which is tons of fun to look at. The costume design is fantastic. As I said, the overall positive, the biggest compliment the movie is that it is so well made. It's one of the extremely well made murder mystery that even when sometimes the story isn't that interesting, some of the performances aren't that interesting, at least the look of the movie does catch your eye from start to finish. Now, the most entertaining part of the movie is also Kenneth Branagh on the screen as Hercule Poirot. He is great in this role. Again, this series is based off the Agatha Christie novels, and and you can tell that Knives Out did take a lot from of course, Ryan Johnson came out and said he took a lot of inspiration from the Agatha Christie, very similar character to Benoit Blanc, played by Daniel Craig in the Knives Out movies. And it's a very eccentric, but very focused main character. And Brana is so captivating to watch on screen continually as this character. I wish the mysteries around his character were just as interesting as him, but he's a very fascinating character that they like to watch on screen in the movie. The other performances that I think are really interesting going on here, I think there's only like two that really stand out for me. One, of course, is just off winning her Oscar. Michelle Yeoh is great as always. Now, sadly, she's not in the movie that much, but when she's on screen, she is a lot of fun as this kind of psychic person who's trying to run a seance, or is that how you say, a seance, for Kelly Riley's character who's trying to reconnect with her dead daughter. Michelle Yeoh as Miss Reynolds is really good in the movie. And again, when is she not good? But Michelle Yeoh, I just got to give praise to her. And this might be a shocker for some people, but him teaming up with child actor Jude Hill, after Hill played basically Branagh's himself in Belfast 2 years ago. Hill is fantastic in the movie. And of all of the main people that Poirot is investigating, Leopold is the most fascinating character of the whole movie. And Hill is really good in this movie. And especially when you watch him in Belfast with, obviously Brana wasn't on screen, but behind the screen for that, he's been put up with against a lot of fantastic actors. And Hill as a child actor who's only around 13 years old, he really stands out in both movies, especially this one. He's really captivating to watch. He has a lot of charisma to himself, and his chemistry with Branagh on screen is very evident as well, especially his connection also with Jamie Dornan's character, who plays his father in the movie. So those for me are like the big three cast standouts other than the craftsmanship. Now, overall, with some of the things that missed the mark for me, this movie took a pretty bold take of, it's already been a murder mystery genre for the first two movies. And this still is very much a whodunit, but it's mixing with a lot of horror aspects as we're talking about ghosts and hearing things and jump scares. And that does happen throughout the entire movie. And it's a very fresh and really inventive direction to keep the franchise moving forward in a new way. And while I really respect the idea that they were going for, I don't think they executed both of those ideas greatly. I think the horror aspects of the movie and the way Branagh shoots that and builds tension are actually really good. I would love to see a full-fledged Kenneth Branagh directed horror film. I think that's a great idea for him if he does not want to keep playing Hercule Poirot moving forward. His attention to detail with some jump scares, some that of course are intended to be jump scares and some that are fake out jump scares, I think were very well done throughout the entire movie. And he does do a good job of bringing out tension with the horror aspect of the movie, but it kind of goes by the wayside once you learn about what happens in the third act of the movie. It doesn't really come all the way together for me. But even worse is, for me, I did not love the murder mystery for this movie. And it's easily the most boring aspect of the movie when it squarely becomes a whodunit. Now, yes, as I said before I got into this review, for people out there, it's a murder mystery is a subjective genre. Either you are one of those people who know who it is from the start, and some that you are surprised and that adds to your thing. For me, knowing the person, not knowing the person, it doesn't make a movie awesome or awful to me if it's entirely a murder mystery. For me, I did see this one coming a mile away. And I think the biggest problem with the murder mystery is that, one, it was extremely boring. While there was tension within the horror scenes that were used throughout the entire film and the thriller aspects of the film, the actual murder mystery had zero tension to it. And I think once they revealed the plan of the person who killed some people in the movie, it's so elaborate, it's so perfectly timed. I think, as you said, in a lot of murder mysteries, they like our investigator to have this long 5 to 10 minute monologue about why the person killed all these people. But for me, the more Poirot just keep going on about how this person killed someone, it just keeps, I think, straining credibility. How this, not just the person, I get why the person, obviously, I knew who the person who it was from the really, once we got into the murder mystery, it made a lot of sense to me who the killer was. But the actual plan was a bit too perfect for me. And there's also a couple subplots involved, especially with like Tina Fey. And you know me, I don't really like to crap on any actors. And I really like Tina Fey, especially with her comedy stuff. She's really good right now, especially on Only Murders in those 3-season run. But for me, Tina Fey was not that good in the movie for me. The character wasn't that interesting. It was the most uninteresting subplot in the entire movie. And the performance just did not work for me. The comedy, when she was trying to do some comedy, wasn't very funny. My theater didn't laugh a single time throughout this entire movie. And while her chemistry is great with Branagh, she just feels mightily miscast in the movie. And I think maybe the character could have benefited, but really the performance could have benefited more if it wasn't Tina Fey. And I don't like feeling that way. I said that about a movie earlier this year, but just how I feel, Tina Fey for me was just mightily miscast. In this movie, there's also a lot of other subplots about Michelle Yeoh's helpers that I didn't really feel that compelling. The security guard, and there's just a lot of characters I just wasn't that interested in. And also, we keep redoing this plot line of our main investigator being retired, and then this case brings him out of retirement. We've seen that in a billion other genres and movies, and I'm getting kind of tired of it at this point. So overall, this is an extremely well-made movie, both from the behind the camera point of view with score, production design, costume design, and direction from Branagh, and he is thoroughly entertaining, as well as Michelle Yeoh and Jude Hill. Sadly for me, the murder mystery is not that interesting. It's pretty boring for the most part. And for a film that's only an hour and 43, it does feel a lot longer than that. A lot of other characters and subplots aren't that interesting. So overall, I'm kind of right down the middle on Haunting in Venice. I'm going to go 2.5 out of 5, 54% for A Haunting in Venice. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys soon.